Hello gamers, welcome to another edition of Tonight on Hammer's Game Table, where tonight I am continuing a series featuring my Delves and Dangers Definitive Edition release, and it is called The Death Stone. Our group of heroes are trying to save their village. They are their village's only hope to stop the rash of undead that have been plaguing their village thanks to the awakening of the Death Stone, and they are Beefcake. He is a human fighter with a great axe. You have Per Sharpclaw, and he is a cleric of Silvatar, Fellcat, cleric of Silvatar. We have Kendall Brownleaf, and he is a cleric of, or no, he's a druid, druid. And then we have Barry Goodhollow, and she is a Harefoot wizard. Kendall obviously is a Harefoot if you hadn't figured that much out. So last episode, the elders sent this young group of adventurers to try to save their village to the crypts beneath the cemetery. But before they got to the crypts at the cemetery, they were set upon by undead and barely made it out. They took a night's respite. They are refreshed and ready to go. They made their way to a mausoleum and down the stairs to the crypts below. And that is where this part of the adventure begins. So they make their way down the stairs, and I'm using the Axebane's Deck of Many Dungeons, available on GameCrafter. And this is our starter. So this is the interior of the crypts that are below the cemetery in Tired Hollow. So they are faced with several doors. Now, because of the way the story is going, no doors are locked, and you'll find out why. As the heroes make their way down the stairs, Barry says, "You know what? If someone's not supposed to have been down here for a century, there's very little dust. Something or someone has been moving around down here, and recently. Yeah, I hope we meet them. No one threatens my village and gets away with it," says Beefcake. So they enter into this large chamber, and there's some bones over in the corner. And let's see if there's anything else in there. Let's see what else they see. I'll say 50% chance there are some undead in here. And there are. So those bones rise up. We'll make them skeletons. So some skeletons rise up, and they begin to march upon our party. So we're going to have it be, there's one here, just be in the room. They're over here in the corner. Make sure it's on, yep, okay. Okay, and just a couple of skeletons, that's all. Just a couple, and they rise up and head for the intruders, possibly following the commands of the Death Stone. We shall see. All right, so it is initiative. The way initiative works in my game is they make an agility roll, and if they get 2 successes, it's a DL2 agility roll. If they get 2 successes, they act before the enemy. If they fail, it's after. Okay, Barry gets to reroll a failed die, and Barry is going before the skeletons. And Per is going before the skeletons. Kendall gets to reroll a failed die. Nope, Kendall's going after the skeletons. And Beefcake is after the skeletons. Now, skeletons in the definitive edition have had some modifications from the original, my original edition of Delves and Dangers, and so I want you to see or hear, I guess, what those are, so you know what's happening in this combat. So skeletons, blunt weapons, you know, warhammers, maces, anything that the DD determines is blunt, gets +0 dice against them. Slashing weapons such as Beefcake's great axe. And I'm going to say, to a certain extent, Kendall's spear are going to be at -3 dice to the attack. And then in arrows and bolts will be at -4 dice to the attack. So I wanted you to be aware of that going into this combat. So here we go. So I guess we'll start with Purr. Now Purr has a sword, so that's -3 die to attack. However, Purr also gets +3 dice against undead, so that's pretty much going to even itself out. So he'll be rolling 6 dice with his sword. All right, so he's going to move first. Moves up on the first skeleton, swings his sword, 6 dice. Channeling divine power still, it's just that the skeletons are designed to... not slashing weapons are not designed to kill skeletons. All right, so it's a pretty solid punch. No exploding dice. However, that is 5 successes. And skeletons have 6 stamina. And they also have 2 armor. So, or at least this one does because it has a shield. If they don't have a shield, it's 1 armor. But then again, looks like he's wearing plate mail. So I'll go by what the minis say. So they're going to have, he's going to have 3 armor. All right, anyway. So he hits that first skeleton for 5. -2 is 3 damage. So that one's down to 3. All right, so that's Purr's action. Next up is Barry. I did not play it so far that Barry cast magic armor, so Barry's going to cast a defensive spell first, spend a power point, and make a casting roll. Has 5 dice for casting roll, and gets nice amount of successes. Gets 5 successes, so that is 5 divided by 2 rounded down, so that's 2. So Barry has a armor value of 2. I'm going to place these 2 tokens next to Barry to remind me that that is Barry's armor score. All right, so Barry then also moves down into the room. Well, no, moves further down the stairs. It's not about to get engaged. So skeleton, nice. Barry's going to stay there, never mind. Skeleton moves up on Beefcake, and these skeletons just move on Purr because Purr's the closest. So here we go. Skeletons attack with various weapons. 4 dice. 4 dice on Beefcake. And we got 2 exploding dice. And that is 4 successes on Beefcake. Beefcake is wearing chainmail, so that reduces that damage by 2. So Beefcake is taking 2 damage. That brings him down to that. Okay, next up is 3 attacks on Purr. I'll roll 2 separate right now. 2 damage, 2 successes, but his armor is 2 with the ringmail that he's wearing, so no damage from that skeleton. This skeleton does 3, so that's 1 damage to Purr. And then the third attack is 2 successes, not enough to get past his armor. So that brings us now to Kendall. Kendall has a spear and has a short bow. But Kendall's going to do his best. Right here, going to stab this skeleton with a spear. He gets 5 dice with the spear, but because I'm calling it a slashing weapon, it's -3, so it's only 2 dice. Yikes, so let's see what happens. All right, so 1 success does not damage the skeleton. Next up is Beefcake. He takes a swat at his... opponent that's standing right in front of him, swinging a sword. The rattle of bones and armor and weapons. All right, so Beefcake is pretty powerful with that great axe of his. So that's 10 dice. But then since it's a slashing weapon, we subtract 3. So it takes a swat and has 2 exploding dice, 4 successes and 2 exploding dice. And so that is 5 successes minus 2. Which is 3 damage to that skeleton. All right. Now we roll initiative. All right, Barry is going before. Kendall gets to reroll a failed die and also is now going before. Beefcake is after. exploding die, and Per goes before. All right, so we'll start with Per. Per has the sword, so that is, but also has +3, so just with its regular 6 dice. Swings at the same skeleton he swung at before, and he gets 4 successes and 2 exploding dice. And that's it. So 4 successes -2 is 2 more. So that is down to 1. Not enough to fell it, though. Not enough. And then Kendall stabs with his spear. It's down to 2 dice at the one he stabbed at before and gets 2 successes. That's not enough to break through. He would have needed to get an exploding die to be able to do any damage to that skeleton. We'll say the skeleton caught the spear on its shield. And now Barry's going to use a magical bolt. Going to use a magical bolt on the one that she has seen that Per has been chipping away at. So this is modified by their agility resistance. Skeletons have an agility resistance of 2. So there is 3. Barry's at Harefoot, so he gets to reroll a failed die and has 1 exploding die. Another exploding die. And so that comes out to be 5 successes, and that is modified by 2. So that's 3 successes, which is enough to put the final chip into the skeleton facing Per. Now, that brings us to the skeleton. So now we have 2 attacks on Per. They're really jonesing for Per. So they swing with their rusty old weapons at Per. And the gray one has 2 exploding dice. Another exploding die. All right, so that's a pretty solid hit. That's 7 minus Per's armor of 2, which is 5. Per takes 5 damage. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And then the other skeleton, when it's slammed with its weapon, its sword, that was 3, 4, 5. Minus 2 is 3 more damage to Per. So Per is hurting. And then Beefcake gets an attack on him. Armor 2. And it is not enough. Not enough to break through. And so it is now Beefcake's attack, and he is attacking with 7 dice because of the weapon he has against them. Swings. Rah! Lets off a huge roar. Gets 1 exploding die. All successes and exploding die. That's beautiful. 6, 8. Minus 2 is 6. That is more than enough to fell the skeleton facing him. So that skeleton crumbles into a pile of bones. Now we go to initiative. Kendall gets to reroll a failed die. Nope, Kendall's after. Barry gets to reroll a failed die. Uh-oh, it's an exploding die. Ooh, Barry gets to move it, thanks to Harefoot luck, gets to move ahead of the skeletons. And Beefcake's ahead of the skeletons. And unfortunately, Per is after. So now we'll go with Beefcake moves up on this skeleton and attacks. Once again, rolling 7 dice. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, wow, 4, 6. So 6 hits. Minus 2 is 4 on that one. All right, and then the other one, Barry's attack. Barry is going to fire off another magical bolt. Going to move into the room this time and fire a magical bolt at the one that Beefcake just smashed. And that's 3, 4, 5. 5 successes minus agility resistance of 2 is 3 more damage. And that is enough to finish that one off. And then we move to the skeleton. The skeleton attacks Per. Like I said, they do not like Per. This might be enough to send Per to the ground. We shall see. I was rolling too many dice. These are especially powerful skeletons. That's rolling 6 dice like the zombies. All right, so that's 4 minus 2 is 2. So Per takes 1, or is down to 1 stamina, folks. 1 stamina. All right, and then Kendall takes a stab with his spear, which is not a very effective weapon against skeletons, and does 2 successes, which is not enough. And then Per, for maybe the coup de grace, channeling divine power while also using a weapon and is not great against skeletons. Well, 2 exploding dice, 3 successes, 4 successes. -2 is 2. Not enough to fell it, but enough to take off a few rib bones, which brings us to initiative. See how the combat is shaping up. Berries before, beefcakes before, Kendall's before, and Per after. So we're just going to have Beefcake finish this off. See if he can with 7 dice. He's moved over, of course, and takes a huge swat on this guy. And he's, that's horrible. 3 successes with 1 exploding die. That's still only 3 successes, so only 1 point of damage. So he did not get an effective swing in on that shot. And then that brings us to Kendall. Kendall's going to try with his spear. Ooh, he got an exploding die. He's going to do some damage. Oh, no, he's not. Ooh, he gets to roll 1 failed roll because he's a harefoot. Oh, still no. Does not get past that shield that skeleton is wielding. But Barry's, let's see if Barry's magic bolt is able to get through. Their casting roll of 5 dice. 2 exploding dice, gets to reroll a failed die. 3 exploding dice, very nice. And that is 6 exploding dice, or 6 -2 is 4. That is enough to send that skeleton back to the grave. All right, so, well, obviously, the Death Stone is working its unholy magics. Yes, I'm afraid so. All right, Per says, which door, 1, 2, or 3? So I'm going to roll randomly to determine which one they go down. 1, 2 to the left, 3, 4 to the straight, 4, 5 to the right. So they're going to check out the door straight ahead. It's slightly ajar. It used to have a lock on it. So they go to the door, and Barry peeks around the door to look down the hall, and let's see what Barry sees. It is another door. This does not look very crypt-like. I have a feeling that these crypts are not just crypts. I don't like that. I don't think it matches where I'm going. So we're going to discard that card and draw another. All right, that's a little better. All right, so these side entrances are not side entrances. They are going to be indents where there are dead bodies laid to rest. So they make their way down here, listening closely. Do you think the Death Stone would be this close to the entrance? No, I do not think so, says Per. So let us go further. So they turn to the right. And as they do, they hear the shuffling of something coming down the hall at them. At least I think it's the shuffling of something. Oh yeah, I'm going to roll. So I want it to be pretty much exclusively undead in this dungeon, and my encounter tables are not set for that. So I've decided what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to be like, I'll roll on a 1 or 2. Let's go. 1, it's skeletons. 2, it's zombies. 3, it's ghouls. Okay. And then, no, let's go 1, 2 skeletons, 3, 4 zombies, 5 ghouls, and 6, it might be a more powerful undead. So we're going to do that. Okay. So we're going to roll. That's how we're going to do this. I should write that down somewhere. Get one of my handy, trusty dry erase note cards I got. I do like these a lot. Before we see what this monster is, take out this dry erase note card. I got them on Amazon, by the way. All right, so 1, 2 is going to be skeletons. 3, 4 will be zombies. 5 will be ghouls. And then I'll roll, and if I roll a 5 or 6, it'll be a ghastly instead, which is a more powerful ghoul. And then 6 will be powerful undead, and I'll decide what that's going to be if we roll it. It could be, it could be nasty. It could be a shadow, maybe a white, or I'm sorry, Death Walker. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, so there we go. So I'm gonna roll to see what is coming down the hall. Oh my goodness, it's ghouls. All right, let's see if it's a ghastly. It is. All right, so we're gonna say 2 ghastlies are heading down the hall at them. And ghastlies have a stench to them. That's the difference between them and ghouls. So we're going to make our hallway here. Pretty wide hallway. These are the walls I'm putting up. And then the hallway will turn here. Okay. There we go. And the ghastlies are coming down. Our heroes are heading down the hall here. And then they see the ghastlies turn the corner. There's 2 of them. Oh, before they went on, of course, I'm going to have Per use her healing stone twice because she was very winded. 5 plus 2 is 7, so that takes her up to 8. She is going to, or he is going to keep it to 8, I guess. He doesn't want to use another charge. He doesn't want to ask any of his party members to use another charge. And then Kendall's like, well, here, have a berry. So he eats 1 berry, and that takes him almost to full. So he eats a healing berry that the druid has created. Oh, and then they come around the corner, and oh, there it is. Oh, my goodness. So it's initiative. These things are breathing heavily, and they're very ugly, and they're not close enough yet for they starting to see the beginnings of the stench that these things create. Let me turn to their place in the book. Yes. Yeah, it's gonna be rough. Okay, so we've got Beefcake after. Reroll a failed roll. That puts Barry before. Also, Kendall is before. And Per is after. So that's not great. You want the cleric to go first. Okay. So, Kendall uses a short bow and fires at this ghastly. His short bow's at 5. There's no reduction of weapons. So it does 3 successes, which the armor of a ghastly is 1. So that does 2 damage to a ghastly. And they are have a little decent stamina. All right, so that one is hit. And so that is his move, and that's where he's staying currently. Next up is Barry. Now, Barry has really not that many attack spells, has more defensive / and sleep is useless against undead. So, I guess it's the classic Magic Bolt. And that is 3 successes. Reroll a failed die roll. That's 4 successes against an agility resistance of 3. So these are pretty spry things. So that's only 1 damage to the one that was hit with the arrow. But every point of damage counts, folks. All right. Then it is their attack. So they move up on them. Now, I'm going to immediately say, as soon as they come within range of within the feet, which they are, everybody has to make a strength resistance roll or be -3 dice. They'll be nauseated. So we're going to go with Barry. Barry gets to reroll a failed roll. Okay, Barry is nauseated. Is going to have -3 dice to her rolls. My tokens are across the room. So what I'll do is I'll mark her with this. So she is nauseated. Beefcake, his strength resistance is 5. More than likely, he will be able to resist this. Here I am in my fat mouth. All right, so that's, he also is nauseated. Okay. Nauseated. So they're going to be at -3 dice. Let's try Kendall. He has a strength resistance of 3. Oh, he is not nauseated. And Per has a strength resistance of 2 and would have needed to roll an exploding die to avoid that. So it's a 3 because it's a very overwhelming stench. So that puts it at him as nauseated as well. So they have -3 dice to those rolls. All except Per, which I guess is helpful since Per is the cleric. All right, and they attack. So Ghastlies attack with both claws, which is a lot of dice, and a bite. So that's why they're particularly dangerous. So I'm going to say the claws are the gray. And the bite is 4. All right, so the bite is 3 plus a exploding die, so 4 on Beefcake. His armor is 2, so he takes 2. And, all right, he'll have to make a strength resistance roll here in a moment. Let's get the claws out of the way. So the claws hit, so that's going to be a second strength roll because that is a lot. That is a lot. Wow, look at that roll. Oh my goodness. So 2, 4, 6, 8 minus 2 is 6. Yikes, Beefcake. That guy tore into you. So Beefcake has to make 2 strength resistance rolls now. Now his dice are 5 dice, so technically he should have the best chance. It's a DL3 though, because Ghastlies are particularly deadly. So here's the first one, and he makes it barely. 4, 4, 3 are successes. And the second from the claws. Oh, got an exploding die. Will this save him? Oh, yes, he is not paralyzed. He shakes off the paralysis of the crypt gunk that is coated on their claws. All right, now Per. Now this could be bad if Per ends up getting paralyzed. 8 and 4. It's a lot of dice coming from these creatures. But I wanted to make this game dangerous. So, oh my goodness, look at the claw attack. All right, so they got 1 exploding dice with the bite. All right, so 3, so that's 1 damage on Per. All right. Now the claws are a different story. There's 1 exploding die there as well. So that is 4, 8 as well, minus 2 is 6. So Per is up, but has to make 2. 1 from the bite, 1 from the claws. Strength resistance rolls or be paralyzed. Woo! All right, so first one does not make it, so paralyzed. So I didn't have to make the second one. Needed 3. Needed to get an exploding die there. So paralyzed. I will mark that with a token to remind me. So he's paralyzed. So not good. Not good. All right, so Beefcake swings at -3, which takes him to 7 dice because he's nauseated. And that is a powerful swing. So that's 4 with an exploding die. Only does 4 damage. They have an armor of 1, so that's 3 more damage on this one. And then that brings us to Per. Now Per gets to make another strength resistance roll to break free of the paralysis. Let's see if we can get the exploding die. Ooh, does. Let's see. Let's see. Oh no! Does not shake off the paralysis. Still paralyzed. Poor Per. All right, so that's initiative. Okay. All right, so Per's after, and Kendall gets to reroll a failed roll and goes before, and Barry is already going before, and so is Beefcake. So there is some hope here for Per, who is paralyzed, not to be eaten. All right, so we're going to go 7 dice from the nauseated Beefcake on... No. Strategically speaking, Barry goes, let me finish that one. Then you help out Per. So fires off a magic bolt. Woo! Reroll failed roll. Yikes. 2 exploding dice. Barry, that was a great magic bolt. All right. So that is a total of 4. And 3 more is 7 minus agility resistance of 3, which brings it to 4 more damage, which is enough to drop this Ghastly. So it drops to the ground, a corpse again. And then Beefcake then moves up on this one and swings, using tactics here, folks. Tactics. Still nauseated, swings at the Ghastly, and 3, 6, minus 1 is 5 damage. Woo! All right. So that brings us now to Kendall. Kendall fires off a short bow. Now he's firing into, if he rolls 3 1s, he may hit one of his, he hits an ally, but he's going to fire anyway. Does not roll 3 1s, but he rolled 1 1. All right, so 2 successes and turn in exploding. So yeah, only 2 successes, which is only 1 damage on that. He couldn't get a good aim in. His friends were in the way, but it still phased the thing. And yeah. All right, now it is the Ghastly's turn. It turns on Beefcake and attacks. So that's 8 and 4. Basically, it's attacking with Claw, Bite, and each claw is worth 4, and the bite is worth 4. So that is basically, it's 3 multiple attacks, which, you know, that is what these creatures have traditionally done in other role-playing games. Just that you think this is a lot of dice, which it is, but I have reasons for it. All right, so no exploding dice with the claws, but that's still at 6, minus 2, puts it at 4 damage to Beefcake, and then the bite has an exploding die, 4 successes and an exploding die, so that's 5 successes minus 2 armor, which gives us 2, 3 on Beefcake. So Beefcake is hurting, but does not care. This thing does not stand a chance. So it tries to get another strength resistance roll to break free of the paralysis, and does not. All right, so that's initiative. This initiative is pretty big. They need at least one of their party members to go before them to possibly bring this thing down. So Kendall gets to reroll a failed die and is still going after, so that's not good. Beefcake got an exploding die and is going before, so that is good. And Barry gets to reroll a failed die and is going before as well. Beefcake goes back to swing. Barry fires off a magic bolt before the axe can fall and gets 4 successes, rerolls a failed die, so that is 5 successes off of agility resistance of 3, so that's 2 damage, which is just enough to take it down. As it falls to the ground, Beefcake holds its swing and says, "That creature was mine, Harefoot. You'll get over it. All right, hurry. Let's restore Purr." All right, so they're going to... the paralysis eventually is going to wear off, or he's going to break free of it. I don't have a duration. That's up to the Danger Director. So in this case, we'll say that Purr made his saving throw just a moment later and is now free to move. Now, the nausea lasts for 10 minutes. That I have written into the rules. 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes for Ghastlies. So in 5 minutes, they're able to retch and puke out all the bad fumes. Oh, I need healing. So he uses his healing stone. He's going to use 2 charges. So that's 6 plus 2 is 8 more. Added on to his stamina. Purr is also harmed. So Purr's going to use the last charge on his healing stone. And it was not great, but it's better than nothing. Okay. How deep are these crypts? Well, the elders say no one truly remembers, but some of them believe that it is only 2 levels deep. 2? That's ridiculous. Who would need 2 levels to bury the dead? All right, so they're going to go around the corner, and they go down a long hallway, and I'm going to have that be a dead end. So they go back, and, you know, there's bodies buried in the walls all along these halls, by the way, so it's very eerie and very creepy, and there's, you know, spider webs and insects and so forth pretty much everywhere. So they go back. There's doors here, but they go back to the 2 doors in the main chamber. Let's see what we have those ways. So they open, let's see what the decision is. They're going to open the one on the east. So they open it, and let's see what is revealed. A hallway. Okay. So they go down the hallway. They turn the hallway. There's a door there, and that door is locked because it's a shrine. So that means nothing has been in here in a while. So they're going to try to. They don't really have a stealth specialist that's good at opening locks. So they don't they gotta check and see if this is the place they need to be. So here, Beefcake's like, I've got the best door opener ever. So he hefts his axe. He's gonna take a swing at the door, try to break where the lock hits the wall. So he has a strength of 4, and he's gonna make a strength check. Since he's a fighter, I'm gonna give him his proficiency die. And I'm gonna say it's pretty solid. This is probably a crypt that maybe have had valuables in it. So I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna go DL3. And that is more than enough. He smashes the door, kicks in the door, and there's a shrine here. There don't appear to be any creatures in here, but there is a, we're gonna call this a sarcophagus here. So this was a shrine to somebody that was very important that was buried here. Look, Kendall says, look, I am not into robbing the dead. So, yes, but what if the Death Stone is in that crypt? Unlikely. I'm going to check. So he goes, Purr's like, please be careful and please do not take anything. We shall not rob the dead. Yeah, whatever. He goes, he pushes the sarcophagus lid. Is pretty heavy. He's a pretty strong guy, so I'm going to say he's able to move it off, or at least, swivel it so he can look inside. And there is a warrior corpse inside holding a sword and armor. And so he closes it. I didn't see any kind of stone, just a sword and an armor. Very well. Well, let us continue. If we need to, maybe we'll take a very close look at many of these other rooms. Yeah, let's go. So they go, and they come to a place that is, we're gonna, so I'm gonna have to move this out of the way. All right. Okay, so they open the door, and there's a long room, as you can see, with pillars, probably another shrine. It's 20 by 20. It's a long, thin room. Yeah, let's make the long, thin room. We'll say this is the room here. It's not as big as the one on the map, but that's okay. And there are 2 doors here, and there are monsters. There's a double door here and here. And so they enter in through a door here. So healing stones, I should be tracking those. So Purr has 1 left. Let me do it. Yeah, they'll do it on this card. All right, so Purr has 1. Beefcake has 1. Barry has 3. And Kendall has 3. All right, so track those 2. I usually use tokens. I did not get them out for this game. All right, so they're in this room, and there are creatures at the end of the hall. Actually, I can add on a bit of space to this hall. Yeah, make it pretty accurate. And there we go. And they enter in here. And the undead are over here. And I'm going to roll to see what undead they are. Oh my gosh. Oh, skeletons. I thought that was a 6. It is not. More skeletons to harry the adventurers. So 4 skeletons. These ones, I know the minis I'm using have armor and weapons. These happen to just have claws because these are the risen people that were laid to rest. They were not like guardians of the shrine or anything, or guardians of the crypt like they met at the first one. So though the minis have weapons and armor and so forth, they do not, for they are just the common people of this town who were laid to rest. So that will affect their stats a little bit, but still. All right, Barry gets to reroll a failed die and also has an exploding die, so it goes before the skeletons. Beefcake goes before. Kendall gets to reroll a failed die and gets a success, so it goes before the skeletons. And Purr is after. Purr's initiative has been abominable, but that's okay. It's just okay. All right, so Kendall knows how ineffective he is against these creatures, so he is going to run and hide behind this pillar and wait it out for now and maybe check out these doors if he can. So that's going to be his move only for now. And then Beefcake, of course, rushes into combat, moves up on that skeleton, swings with his weapon, which is, you know, since it's a slashing weapon, he does not have full access to his weapon's not as effective against just bone. Oh my goodness. All right, so you have 4 exploding. He's not really liking the skeletons very much. So he gets 4 exploding dice. Wow, cool. So that's 3, 6, 8. These creatures, I'm going to give them 1 armor just from various scraps and so forth on them. So that is 7, and that is enough to drop it, I think. Yeah, he just drops it. He just smashes it apart with his great axe into bone shards. All right, so that was the extent of his movement. Barry, of course, moves in the room, fires off a magic bolt and then gets behind a pillar, fires a magic bolt at the one on the right, gets 2 exploding dice, gets to reroll a failed roll, and so 2 exploding dice. So that makes it into 5 successes against an agility resistance of 2, so 3 damage on one of these skeletons. We'll do that one over there, and then, okay. Then that was Barry's turn, and so now the skeletons attack. So boom, 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 they all attack him. Now, skeletons normally have a 4D attack with longsword because they're not the best combatants. So that brings them down to 3 dice each. So we'll go these 2 attacks. So that is a miss. This is an exploding die, so no, but they both miss. And then the third one claws at him for no damage. They cannot get past his ring mail. Or his, wait, yeah, Beefcake is wearing chainmail. They can't get past his chainmail. All right, so that brings us now to Purr. Purr moves up, right on this skeleton, attacks. That's the one got hit by Barry's magic bolt. Has 6 dice because channeling divine energy against undead. However, because they're skeletons and he is wielding a longsword, they even themselves out. Still a decent hit. All right, so there's an exploding die, another exploding die. All right, so you are looking at 5 minus, they don't have much, 1 armor, so 4 damage on that one, and that one drops. That's enough to shatter it into bones. All right, and then, yeah. Yeah, that was his 30-foot move. Okay, so that brings us to initiative. All right, so we got Kendall going before. We've got Purr going after, I'm telling you. Barry going before, and Beefcake going before. So Beefcake just swings at this one on the left with 7 dice. 3 exploding dice. That is just magnificent. Another exploding die. Oh my gosh, another exploding die. Yes. So that's 3, 6, 9 minus 1 is 8. That is more than enough to shatter that guy into bones with that great axe. He is just mowing them down. And he kind of takes a step over here and gets ready and opens up the shot for Barry with his magic, with her magic bolt. And she gets to reroll a failed die. That was an exploding die. And she gets 3 exploding dice. Oh, 3 failures. That's all right. So 5 successes against Jill distance of 2. So that brings it down to 3. All right. And then Kendall, he just steps around. He's just gonna go to the door. There's not much he can do right now. He's very ineffective, and he's feeling not so great about that. So he goes to the doors, and that brings us to the skeleton. It takes a swipe with its claws at Beefcake and misses, and then next up will be Purr. Purr steps up and attacks with 6 dice. and gets an exploder. And that's only 3. So that has armor 1, so that's 2. Not enough to drop it. So we are back to initiative, folks. More than likely, if any of the party members do initiative, with the exception of maybe Kendall, this combat is probably over. So Per actually goes before. Kendall, it gets to reroll a failed die. Yep, Kendall's going before as well. And then Barry gets to reroll a failed die and gets to go before. And Beefcake goes before. All right, so Beefcake is just going to finish this all off with 7 dice, with a huge swing from his Great Axe. And, okay, well, it was a matter of time. So that's only 3 successes against armor 1, so that's 2, but that is more than enough to finally end this skeleton's existence. Oh, the Death Stone. We've got to end this. All right, so they open the doors, and revealed is, yeah, okay. So it is a room and in this room is an altar, but this altar looks like they're in this room now before they go to here. So I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. But in this room, there's bones lying on the floor, other stuff, but there's an altar. And it looks like there's blood on it. Blood? So Barry walks up to the blood. What? Blood? What? Blood? What? Where did that come from? I don't know. This is strange. In a crypt, where is there blood? Only the dead are here. Well, no. Either some kind of, I think somebody living. I think we have stumbled upon something dangerous. Yes, there's more here than meets the eye. We must find that Death Stone, but I'm afraid that when we do, we may find more than we think. All right, and that's where I'm going to end it. And so until next time, thank you so much for all the support. Thank you to all of you who downloaded Delves and Dangers. I'm very, very grateful. And I want you to, if you're playing it, I want you to go up and share your experiences, either through, on Mage Hammer's Game Table Facebook page, or just send me an email, or just put it up on YouTube or whatever. So thank you so much for all your support. Hope you're enjoying this little story. Until next time, keep on rolling dice and playing games. Mage Hammer out.